Yes, guys, welcome back. We are still going on with our post-match videos and post-match reactions to that game. Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0. A brilliant performance. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang grabbing a brace and Bukayo Saka coming back to goal involvement. One of the things I would like to see this season is how consistent can Saka be. He is very, very good. He's very consistent, and I still want to see him very consistent. How consistent can Saka be? How consistent can Emily Smith Rowe be? And a couple of other players that I think have really put in very, very good performances tonight. But let's go down to Mikel Arteta's press conference, do some reactions, and see how did the manager react? What did he say? And what are the kind of questions the journalists did ask? I have in my own issues with how these journalists really ask questions. Right about now, we beat Newcastle, and they're gonna ask a question about the nil draw with Crystal Palace, and you're like, what are you even asking about? So let's go down to see Mikel Arteta. What did he talk about? He talked about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He talked about a couple of other, incidences. Emily Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, the win. What does it mean? And of course, the coming fixtures. So let us go down there, react to that press conference by the one and only manager, Mikel Arteta. Stay with me, smash the like button, and subscribe to the channel as well. Okay, here we go. Mikel Arteta's press conference, what did he actually say? That is what we are more interested in. On Aubameyang, he said, I had previous conversations with him to try it and support him. He takes a lot of responsibility. He is very critical with himself, and he knows his place in the team. And that is on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who I said that I think if there is a player who has gained in this performance today, it has been Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It has been Aubameyang. You know what it means for a striker to go so many games without a goal, and then boom, you bang in a brace. That means a lot. And of course, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang needs to capitalize on that, needs to build on that. You can't have fluctuating performances, match in, match out. Today you score, the other day you don't score. I think that should be a start. You score against Newcastle, a brace. You've got to start from there. He has scored 3 goals in the past 3 games he has appeared for Arsenal. Remember, he scored against Newcastle. Actually, he has scored 3 goals against Newcastle in the past 2 games. In almost a space of a week. So that boosts your confidence. And he says, they've tried to support him, and Aubameyang takes a lot of responsibility, and we have seen that today on the pitch. He really takes that responsibility. I've seen him try to shoot. We saw him the first half. He was the only player trying to go for goal, and that only shows you how how he takes matters onto himself, how he takes matters in his hands, and it's going to be very, very, very positive. Something so good if Arsenal can have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, our captain, to the fullest, to the best of his abilities. He's a wonderful player, and trust me, you want to see him play at his best form day in, day out. On Maitland-Niles, not in the squad, he said there's been a lot of players who are left out of the squad and have less minutes. It's about him, his performances, and how much he wants to be in the team. Well, I think I can't disagree with Mikel Arteta on this one, especially on Ainsley. There was a time, especially last season, as we were closing down, Ainsley had shown himself as one of the best players. Arsenal, he was a regular in the team, and every one of us thought Ainsley Martinez is going to be playing football for Arsenal, but that didn't happen this season. He abruptly drops him, and then when Hector Bellerin gets that yellow card, 50th yellow card, you look at him and you're like, okay, we have to play Ainsley. He plays against Southampton and Everton, and I think he was a little bit brilliant. He was good. Again, after those good performances, he drops him. So I don't think it's about Ainsley. I think it might be a problem inside there. Because for me, I think today, however much I've been crying for Cedric was ridiculous. His performance was too poor, below average. I'll talk about that in the player ratings. But I think Ainsley not being in the squad, it might be something beyond the player. Maybe Mikel Arteta needs to address that as soon as possible. On Mesut Ozil, he said Mesut is in Turkey. He's going through the medical that has to be completed. Mesut's quality will be missed. He's a very special player who had a very big history in this football club. That's according to Mikel Arteta on Mesut Ozil, and that is total hypocrisy. Total hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Sorry, you can't say you leave out a player out of the squad, then you say his quality is going to be missed. Ozil has not had a long-term injury for 2 or 3 months to deserve to be out of that squad. He's one of the best players, if not the best, technically gifted player in Arsenal. When he was there at the time, and you say his quality is going to be missed. This is hypocrisy. I think he's trying to send him off well. Should I say that? Yeah, of course I know he has a very big history at the club, almost 200 matches, plus, and then he has involved himself in 108, goals, 77 assists. He's a very, very, very talented player, very good player, but he has been confirmed that he has left, and of course, Mikel Arteta says the player is in Turkey already to finish his medical. And then on Thomas Partey, he said we've been missing Tommy. He has this presence, aura that makes him a special player for us. We can see the difference he makes exactly. He totally smashed and squambled Newcastle. It's like Newcastle never had a midfield. Of course, they had Miguel Almiron trying to, maneuver things around. George Shelby was totally lost. Thomas Partey, that kind of player. I think Arsenal have been missing that kind of player. That kind of player that is always on the move. That kind of player that is always looking forward. That kind of player that's always looking out for a pass. And I think he has that quality of Paul Pogba, although I still believe that Pogba is, is a classy player ahead of, Thomas Partey. But I still feel Thomas Partey has that Pogba effect, that Pogba thing. Pogba always passes that ball, always looks for that move, always, wants to make something happen. And I think that is what Thomas Partey is all about. We've seen him today running through the midfield, passing that ball, making sure that Newcastle is not trusting, and their midfield was absolutely run down by his quality. On Aubameyang, he said, still on Aubameyang, he said that's what he's done through his career. Mentally, you have to be really strong to do that. He's come back and contributed to the team, and I'm really pleased with him. Yeah, he's a top quality finisher, isn't he? Very, very top quality finisher. And this guy has played 205 games in 205 European games, and he scored 100 and what? No. He scored 205 goals in the games he has played in his European competitions. Actually, I think that is 400 something games, and then 205 goals. So he's a finisher, and I think, like I said, Arsenal really need him to be back. On the win, he said the team looked confident, solid, compact, and very clear about what we had to do. Exactly. Apart from a few players who I think were absolutely off track. Cedric was absolutely. Of course, he got that assist in for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but he was completely off. He was really, really completely off. I didn't like him, and I think David Luiz was a little bit more quiet than I expected, but I would agree with Mikel. We were a little bit confident, passing that ball, holding the ball, solid. Apart from when we lost the ball, we didn't show that solidarity when we lost the ball. But when we had it, we were very solid and compact. And then being clear about what we had to do. Probably as a manager, that's what he has to say. And on the win, he says, I'm really pleased with the performance overall, collectively and individually. there. And of course, here they go for the player ratings, which I think I'll do my own. Arteta on Partey says, speaking to Sky's Mikel Arteta has put effusive about the performance of the returning Thomas Partey, and he says he's really happy. I think he's got better and better as the game went on. He has had a big influence. He gave us the things that are different to any other player. We have to protect him because he's missed a lot of football in the past few months, but still really happy with the performance. Emily Smith-Rowe on his help team, of course, Smith-Rowe as well, had to answer a couple of questions and say, I feel I can't cancel out. I feel like I can't cancel out no one, but I think like as it playing together with him up top, it's helped me so much. And on and off the pitch, he gives me so much of confidence. And yeah, I like I said, as we link up and play together, he talks to me a lot. And probably say him the most has spoken to me off the pitch. Um, yeah, there we go. And of course, Emily Smith-Rowe got another assist tonight, and he's been speaking to Sky Sports after the game. Here's what he had to say about his one-touch style of play, and he says, "Yeah, definitely. I think growing up, I've always tried to play one touch. I feel like I know what I'm going to do when I get the ball. Then why not play one touch? That is my boy, my man there." Emily Smith-Rowe trying to reply to some of the questions being asked by the journalists. So I don't think there is any more. That has been the press conference. Emily Smith-Rowe did answer some questions, and I think he's becoming brilliant and more brilliant every game. Which I think if Arsenal continue under that route, it's going to be something very interesting, isn't it? And then of course, Mikel Arteta did speak about so many things like we have seen. Why don't you have yourselves a very, very, very lovely stay off the channel, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.